The vast open spaces of the Mongolian steppe. It's not an easy place to live, although the nomadic tribesmen have been on these plains for centuries. But what was once lush pasture has now changed, and the herds that grazed here have moved on. For many Mongolians, the traditional way of life is no longer possible.
The whole thing is very obvious. In this area in the south side behind me, there were more than a hectare of trees. There's absolutely nothing left of them now. This has happened within 16 years.
The nomads that roam through these plains rely on their herds of goats, sheep and cattle. Generations have been raised in practices of animal husbandry that have changed little over time. But even here, the effects of the global markets can be felt. With cashmere in great demand, the herds of goats that produce it have ballooned. Their ferocious appetite and ability to rip grass from its roots has left vast swathes of land devastated. It might even be a threat to the country's national identity.
For Mongolians, that's the way of life, and that's the way they have been living for centuries after centuries. So in a way, nomadic life is identity of Mongolia.
The evidence is all too easy to find throughout the country as more and more of the fine grass gets swallowed up by the sand. Mongolia is one of the largest countries in the world, and it's famous for its lush pastures and grasslands. But the nomadic way of life here is under threat. Today, 41% of this country has turned into desert. The sands are blown across the country by seasonal winds. In the past 30 years, they've eaten up more than 2 million hectares of grassland. The Gobi Desert, already one of the largest in the world, is growing fast. And there are other threats. Industrialization and modern farming methods don't suit this delicate earth. Poor land management has left deep scars that haven't been given enough time to heal. But worst of all is the threat of climate change. The ecosystem has been badly damaged by sudden storms and temperature drops on the tundra.
Mongoлийн сүлжилт бол одоо тэр дэлхийн дулаар л ерөөсөө Монгол оронд нөлөөлж байгаа асуудал бол
Mongolian desertification clearly has something to do with global warming, and that can be seen at a global level. People in the provinces are leaving the places they traditionally lived.
For these nomadic people whose traditional way of life has barely changed over time, the influence of the outside world has finally caught up, even in this pristine environment. And they'll have to keep moving north to find fresh pastures. Tony Cheng, Al Jazeera, on the Mongolian steppe.